G'day, welcome to another big edition of the RDFNL Footy Show. Looking back on round 14, my name's Yeendy. I'm joined by Tara Murray from Star Weekly. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Certainly a big weekend in football. Well, I guess it's all going to be like that for the remainder of the season now. Every week, every game is going to be crucial between now and the finals.
It was, and I think on the weekend we had one of, if not the biggest upset of the season. Plus, we had one match we thought would be a cracker, which ended up to be a fizzler. So a couple of interesting results there, which do have an impact on the top six heading into those last couple of rounds.
Let's talk about the upset and really pump up the tyres of the Melton Centrals. They are one of the big wins of the 2017 season, taking down the Sunbury Kangaroos, and not just getting over the line, but doing it comprehensively as well.
I think that was the surprising thing. Like, saw the score at halftime. I thought, okay, Centrals are in front. Are Sunbury going to come back? But they didn't. So it was the manner that Centrals did it, which was the most surprising thing.
And they just kicked away after halftime as well. The Kangas, unfortunately, didn't have their kicking boots on. Was it 4 goals, 14 or something to that effect? And Central's just, they just played some really good footy, which I think wasn't surprising because they hadn't played some bad games in recent weeks in the lead up.
And I think the ground suited them. And speaking to Matt Sproul during the week, on the weekend, he said the smaller ground suit them because they don't have the pace on the outside. So they used the most of having that smaller ground. And I know Sunbury Kangaroos were very wasteful in that first quarter when they had the wind. I think they kicked 8 points, and a lot of those shots were out wide. So Centrals forced them out wide, and Centrals ended up, it was just their day. And I know during speaking with Matt, they said they used a little bit of inspiration from the South African International Cup side, which trained out there last week. He said, you've got this group of guys who have never played football before. They're playing football because they enjoy it. It sort of brings back that fun and shows the Centrals this is what it's about. Because
they've had a hard season, but to be around a group of guys who are enthusiastic and just have that love of the game, it just gets you thinking about, well, you got to love the game and to make it successful, and they certainly showed that on the day.
And they've definitely improved. Last season they won 2 matches. I think they've won 6. Is it now?
Yeah, something.
They're sitting 8th or 9th, so they're up there. Definitely improved season. The focus early in the season was to get young players through. They have got that, so it's to keep doing that, and then they'll add a few more pieces next season.
What can we say about the Sunbury Kangaroos? Their loss is sort of it's put them out of the top 6, I think, for the first time this year, which is unfamiliar territory to them in 2017. I know I think they finished 7th last year as well. There's a good chance they might end up that way this year.
Well, that's what they missed out on finals by percentage last year, so it could happen again. And you go, that loss is very costly. That could be their finals berth. Obviously, they've still got a couple of what on paper look easy matches, but with that, they're relying on other results now to make finals. One
of the big games we were excited about that ended up being a bit of a fizzer, as you mentioned before, Riddell and Rupertswood. And I know you went down the Rupertswood bandwagon. I thought Riddell would continue on that trend, which I think would have been better for the competition because you have this young group of team that we've sort of been talking about throughout the season, just building some of that momentum. And unfortunately, they fronted a superior side, which bounced back with a vengeance after the loss to Macedon the previous week.
I think so, and I know Rupertswood weren't happy the last time they played Riddell. They got the win last time they played Riddell, and that was Riddell's previous loss heading into that game. But they were disappointed in the field, and they felt like Riddell outworked them.
Yep.
But on Saturday, it was the opposite. Rupertswood in that first half just outworked Riddell. I know both sides were missing a couple of players, but Rupertswood just dominated the contest, dominated the ball. Even Riddell's goals, when they got them, came via Sharks turnovers. So It was just a really, really good performance in the first half. The sting sort of went out of the game in the second half, but Rupertswood still controlled it.
Do you think that they're back on track with where they want to be this year?
I think they're back on track, and also I think they're looking to the future as well. I know we speak about how many debutants Riddell has had. I think Rupertswood's had 9 come through this year as well.
That's fantastic.
So they're a very young side as well. They do have a little bit of experience in the side, but they are very young and they are getting those players through. And I know they had another debutant on the weekend, so they keep bringing those young guys through, which have had so much success at that under 18 level that it was natural they were all going to come through at some point.
Exactly. And I feel as a whole across the RDFNL comp, they've got the best lot of juniors. They're fielding it through their senior team. They've got it through their under 18. Still a lot of premiership players in the reserves team, but also they've got a lot of guys that have gone and played VFL football. I know the VFL development squad has benefited a lot from some of the Rupo guys like Billy Canello, Cam McCory. Some of those guys have gone in and made an impressive impact in the VFL, which is great, and it just goes to show how talented this batch of kids are.
It is, and Sean Hetherington's another one. He's come back. Rupertswood Junior, played Cotty Cannons, then's gone and played VFL. He's come back to Rupertswood. He's still a young player in the contest, so he could be there for quite a number of years, and he's starved them this year.
He's certainly fantastic performance. And speaking of fantastic performance, the Pies got back on the W's list with a massive impressive win over Wood and Hesket. They got a good run on. I think they kicked about 10 goals in a row during the middle terms to really put that game away over the GGO.
And it was a win they needed. Not only a win, but a percentage boost in win, and it could come down to percentage to make finals like last year. So they got that win, and obviously it could have been a danger game because we don't know with Woodend. Sometimes Woodend has shown up, other times they haven't. So really good win for Wallan, and it moves them back into that top 6.
And to do it without one of their premier midfielders in Andrew Saladino as well, who's nursing a bit of an injury. Looks like if they do make the finals, he will be back as well. We wish him on a speedy recovery there. Romsey coming away with a big win over Lancefield. I was expecting that one to be a bit closer than what we saw on the day.
And I think the one thing that has been with Romsey, they haven't had a lot of big wins. Mm-hmm. They've been a low scoring side, and even when they are winning, so to have a big win like that has boosted their percentage as well. I think they're equal with those 4 teams from 4th to 7th. 2 teams are at 137%, and one of them are Romsey. So he had Chris Burkett come back to form. He gave 4 goals in a best on ground performance, and we've seen what he can do on the big stage. So you don't want him getting into form heading into finals if you're an opposition side. Exactly.
It's good to see him back at the team firing, and that's one of the best things about the Romsey side, and they draw comparisons with Diggers Rest. They do get a lot of goals through their midfield, which is exciting to see because they're always in the play too.
Yeah, and you mentioned that. Obviously, I was looking, I think Diggers Rest this year, including multiple goal kickers, they've had 11 or 12 guys who have led their goal kicking at least 1 week.
Wow.
So that's sort of showing the difference when you've got those number of options, and I know Romsey's had quite a few as well.
Speaking of Diggers Rest, enjoying a big win over Rockbank on Sponsors Day down at the Rams. What can you sort of take away from that game?
It was no surprise.
Yeah.
It was no surprise, and obviously it gives Diggers Rest an opportunity to test some things heading into finals. I know they've got a couple of hard matches in the final round of the season. They've had another guy step up. They had Mark Freeth kick 5 goals in a best on ground performance. So that's another guy who stepped up and shown he can kick goals. So gives the Barras a chance to look at stuff heading forward. Especially
when their finals effectively start this weekend too. So it's going to be crucial for them. And the other game, probably not surprising the result, maybe a bit surprised about the margin. We had Macedon come out and really take Broadford to the cleaners in a very impressive team performance. I think Macedon, they got nearly 50 scoring shots on the day, which was their best performance of the year.
I don't think the margin was a surprise either. You've got top versus bottom. Macedon's put sides that are better than Broadford to the sword, and to do it like that, obviously I think they had 12 different goal kickers. You had Jason Cook kick 7. He's now 15 goals ahead in the leading goal kicker over Todd Podolzak. So
not bad for a small forward.
Well, you look, and Todd Podolzak's not a conventional full forward either. So you've got 2 guys there. Obviously that's pretty much nearly sewn up the leading goal kicker award for Cook, but then I think Matt Knox also kicked 5. So not surprised by the margin or how well Macedon's played against Broadford.
Yeah, it's sort of some highlights I guess we can draw from Broadford. The credit to them, they've stuck it out this year, and it's been a hard year, but they've had the opportunity to get some of the younger kids in the team as well and getting that experience against some quality players.
Exactly. When you don't have an under 18 side, it's quite easy for those players to go elsewhere, but they've stuck with Broadford. They've been given opportunities that they probably wouldn't have got anywhere else, sort of thing. So it's given them a chance to learn, and it's a good sign for Broadford going forward. It means they've got these young guys who've got senior experience. Hopefully they've got a few more players around them next season and take the pressure off them, but it's a good step forward. And they've got a good first year coach in Jimmy Philpott, who's played some good footy right across the region and played in a couple of preliminary finals for Broadford as well. So he's got a lot of good footy knowledge, and no doubt if he goes around next year at the club, I think he's going to be better for the experience as well. I think so as well. Having 1 year like that, it's hard on any coach to have a season like that, but then you've got to take positives out of it. Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks to On Time Delivery Solutions, and thanks to you, Tara. This has been the round 14 review of the RDFNL Footy Show. We look forward to catching up with you later on in the week. Thanks for having me.